It's my pleasure to introduce District Governor Bill Durall this afternoon. Bill retired from the Air Force in 2009 after 37 years on active duty. During that time, Bill and his late wife Peggy moved 21 times, serving in Europe, Asia, Canada, and all across the United States. For about 10 of those years, you were a Russian linguist, right? Yeah. Da. Thanks, Brent. Upon retirement, he joined the Pittsfield Rotary Club, now known as the Rotary Club of Pike County. Since then, he served as his club's president and foundation chair, the assistant governor in Area 6, as here in our district, as a leader of our district visioning team, and now as district governor. Outside of Rotary, Bill has served as an associate instructor of psychology for John Wood Community College and a variety of volunteer activities, including the Pikeland Public Schools Foundation, the JWCC Southeast Area Advisory Council, and the Community Foundation serving Northeast, directionally challenged, Northeast Missouri and West Central Illinois. So please stand and help me welcome District Governor Bill Durall.
You're doing a good job, man.
Thank you. In Air Force terms, I say carry on. Oh, all right. Before I say too much today, I would like for Alan to come back up here, because I've got a couple of things for him. By way of explanation, this year, I mentioned to the board, we have been in the COVID recovery mode for a while, and we still are. This year was the first year that we offered President-elect training seminar, or PETS, as a hybrid event. And as a result of that, there were several of the club presidents that opted to do their training virtually. Alan was one of them. And every year, the district purchases for the club presidents a little embossed theme pad folio and a club banner for the club, or theme banner for the club. So, Alan, at long last, it is my pleasure to present to you your theme banner, or theme pad folio, and your club's theme banner. Okay, so now you're up to date. All right, thanks, Alan. All right, I enjoy Alan's Jeopardy. I'm not going to do Jeopardy, but I would like to have a little pop quiz for you based on Alan's remarks last week. So, what is Alan's goal for membership for this next year? Level, 120 level at 126. Very good. What is his goal in terms of individual Rotarian service for this next year? Well, that's the club. There's one project a month and an hour a week, right, for Rotarian. And what is the goal for funding the Rotary Foundation?
28.5 annual fund.
Close. 27.5
27.5.
for the annual fund. And what about polio?
4,000.
4,000. Okay, very good. He
had a best.
Alan, they were paying attention. So, very good. I'm happy to be here today. This represents my third club visit of the year. So during the board meeting, somebody said, well, how do we compare with the rest of the clubs? And I said, well, ask me again in October, maybe I'll tell you. I'm just starting. but I am delighted to come up here to the Peoria-North Club because you are one of the largest, if not the largest club in our district, and certainly one of the most active clubs in our district, as represented by, did I see Ron? There's Ron back there. I see at least 3 past district governors here. I don't know, do we have, and, oh, there you go, at 4. So in addition, many of you have been involved with district activities, and your club enjoys a very well-earned and good reputation throughout the district as a really active, vibrant Rotary Club. So I congratulate you for all of the things you do. I think Alan has established some very good and reasonable goals for this year ahead. I wish you all the best in achieving those. Let's see, he mentioned the August 6th ball game. Another couple of things that I want to highlight today is I am challenging every club in our district this year to do some sort of a polio event fundraiser. Pints for Polio. See, the Quincy Club does bourbon and popcorn. Some of the clubs did Pints for Polio with ice cream. So I'm thinking that's probably not the vibe of this. But I would hope that all of you will, every club will do something to raise some money for polio this year. It really helped our funds last year, and I think we had in the end maybe half of the clubs in our district that did some sort of a fundraiser for polio, and we are close. I don't know if we're that close or if we're that close or what, but we are getting there. And it's as anyone knows who's had big ambitious goals to do something, you know, you get to 99% and then it's that extra percent that just kills you sometimes. So I would appreciate that. The other thing I would like to announce, or not announce, but remind you of, is that our district conference will be on the 4th and 5th of November. It will be down at the Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville, Illinois. So I know it's a ways down there. Let's see, should I blame Ryan for that? The reason that it is there, the specific reason that it's there, is that Ryan had to cancel district conference last year, and part of the contract was, and he did coordinate with me, part of the agreement with the center down there was that if we canceled it last year, we could have it down there this year. So that's where we're going. It's a good conference center. It's in the Metro East area, so it should be a good activity. All right, now I noticed that last week Alan's goals were consistent with what we have done in the past. Goals for membership, goals for Rotary Foundation giving. I know that you guys have your own foundation. I applaud you for that. It appears to me that it is a sizable foundation with its 600,000 plus endowed fund. And I think, what'd you say, 33,000 last year that came in. So that's good. I think that I would applaud your club today because in addition to your local foundation, you all are also generous in your contributions to the Rotary Foundation, or as I like to call it, our Rotary Foundation. So a little bit more on that later. The last couple of years have been a challenge. With COVID, it's been a challenge for Rotary. It's been a challenge for businesses. It's been a challenge. They have been a challenge for virtually every service organization, church, across the board. We've had a couple of really challenging years. And while I think almost all of us, I don't see any masks here today, but while I think almost all of us are ready to be done with COVID, I suspect COVID is not done with us. And what's more, whether we're talking about long symptom COVID victims, or we're talking about recovery from all of the chaos that COVID caused for us, we will be dealing with COVID for years to come. And in some cases, our response to COVID required us to change a lot of things. In other cases, it required us to accelerate some changes that were already in the works. For example, before COVID, did you guys have an option for virtual attendance at your meetings? Nope. That's one of the things that has become, I won't say ubiquitous, but very widespread. And in fact, for those of you who don't want to travel clear down to Collinsville, we will be offering a district conference as a hybrid event. We'll have a virtual element to that. My technical skills are not sufficient to tell you exactly how we're going to do that, but we got somebody working on it, so that's good. You know, we've had, how many of you are working from home? Anybody? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Several of you. Did you work from home before?
Yes.
Okay, so that, see, that's, I can't count that. But there are many individuals and there are many companies now who have made the work from home option an integral part of their business model, whereas it was not so much prevalent before. So now we're trying to figure out how to move forward from that. Now, how many of you are familiar with Einstein's definition of insanity? Okay.
Doing the same thing and expecting different results.
All right, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I had a boss in the Air Force one time that phrased that a little bit differently. He said, if you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. And that is true. What I think is interesting, though, is that in today's post-COVID environment, there is another definition of insanity. I don't know if it's corollary to Einstein's, but I think it is true. In some of my district governor training, we were introduced to a gentleman from Australia named Michael McQueen, who was a sort of a futurist thinker and lecturer. And he provided another definition, a post-COVID definition of insanity, which I think is very accurate. And that is this: doing the same things that we've always done and expecting the same result. We are entering into a new world. In some respects, especially with regard to Zoom and some of the other technological adjustments that we've made, the trends aren't new, but they're accelerated. And we have lingering challenges today that are creating some issues for us. Inflation, availability of affordable housing. There are all kinds of things that are challenging to us today that sort of had their roots in COVID and the chaos that provided. So, as a service organization, as Rotary, we've got to figure out how to deal with some of those emerging realities. And that's what I'd like to talk about some this morning. whether it's COVID or just our normal generational evolution, one of the issues that we face, I'm going to ask a couple of you guys that have been in the club for a while. Are you as big now as you were before?
No.
What was your highest membership?
60.
Almost 200. Yeah. I'm gonna get 200. I gotta get 250. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Almost 200. Now you're at what, 125-ish? Okay. John Huco, the CEO of Rotary International up in Evanston, recently said, and I ask you to excuse the passive voice. This is not my quote. Okay. The club experience model is not being bought. And I think that we need to address that reality, because it's not just your club that's smaller. It's not just your club that experiences some challenges in getting new members across the board. It's a challenge. And so normally, my experience, and you guys can let me know if this is true or if it's my perverted observation. When district governors come to a club, they talk about membership. How do we get more members? They talk about the Rotary Foundation. How do we get more donations to the Rotary Foundation? And they make an appeal for club members to get involved with activities beyond the club at the district level or above. All right. And those are all important, I think, but it has struck me that every one of those goals is a derivative goal. They're not foundational goals. And this year, as we come out of COVID, we have an opportunity, and one of my goals as a district governor is to at least start to turn this big aircraft carrier called Rotary and get us turned a little bit towards some new priorities. And this theme, I think, is a perfect theme for us. Imagine Rotary. Doesn't talk about serving to change lives, or my year as club president was peace through service or some specific thing. This is wide open. This is the first year in our history that Rotary International has a female president. It's taken a long time for us to get there. We have many clubs where we have a significant number of females as Rotarians, and I think that is a wonderful thing. My father-in-law was a longtime Rotarian down in Pittsfield, and I went home one day and I said, well, you know, Johnson, we're up to over 50 members now. He said, Bill, we used to have 50 men. 50 men. I said, Johnson, you got to remember, those men that you had in the club before, they've been replaced by women in the workforce. And so I think it's great that we have females. Unfortunately, not every club necessarily agrees. We still have several Rotary clubs that are predominantly male, in an environment where I will be willing to bet that the general population is about half and half, because that's kind of the way it is, you know. So anyway, I am proud to be the district governor during our year when we have our first female president. And not only is Jennifer Jones encouraging us to imagine Rotary, but Rotary International about 3 or 4 years ago did some strategic planning, significant strategic planning. And they came up with 4 what I consider to be foundational strategic priorities for Rotary. And this is where I want to head us. Those were increase our impact, right? As Rotarians, people of service, service above self, people who want to help our communities. Isn't that what we're always wanting to do? We want to increase the impact that we have in helping our communities, helping people with disabilities to become more independent, helping those who are impoverished to find ways out of their poverty, helping. We want to increase our impact. So that's the first one. The second one is expand our reach. Now, does that get to membership? Yeah, but how can we be creative in thinking about expanding our reach? Because if we want to increase our impact, we need to expand our reach beyond the pale, stale, and male impression that many people have about Rotary, right? It's not true, but that's, hard to overcome some of those reputations. The third is enhance participant engagement. Enhance participant engagement. There's been a lot of discussion about the fact that in Rotary we have kind of a revolving door. We bring new members in, and then after a year or two or three, those members bail and leave. So there's been a lot of attention focused on how do we retain membership. And I think that's an important point. I agree that that is a worthwhile goal. But note that this strategic priority says enhance participant engagement. What I wonder is how can we engage more people of goodwill in our community that would be interested in serving the community as well, whether they're Rotarians or not? How do we get more people engaged? I think Alan's goal of at least one service project a month is a good one, because especially with younger people who are not buying the club membership model, they want to serve their community. They want to do things. They want to be involved with good activities that help others. What better way to get them exposed to Rotary than inviting them to help us in our service projects, right? And then get them hooked after 2 or 3 service projects, and then maybe you can put them in the net and land them in the boat as new members, right? So that's the third one, enhance participant engagement. And the last priority is increase our ability to adapt. Now, the Rotary Club of Peoria-North is a very dynamic club. I'm going to guess that there are a few curmudgeons around, but for the most part, really? Okay. There are other clubs that have more curmudgeons, at least a greater percentage of curmudgeons. But with this theme, Imagine Rotary, I am excited because I think this gives us as Rotarians broad opportunities to figure out how we can adapt to maintain our relevance and our vibrancy in serving our communities. So a couple of other things that I would like for you to keep in mind. And one of these is to keep in mind that Rotary is a radically volunteer organization. I'm standing up here as your district governor. You've got your club president, we've got past president, whatever. That really doesn't make a bit of difference. Every one of us, I think, has ideas about how can maybe we be better, or do better. Where's an underserved group over here where we could have a service project to help them? What can we do? How can we have more fun? How can we engage our community so that instead of having just Rotarians donate to our Rotary Foundation, we can involve OPM, other people's money, right? How do we do that? So I would challenge each and every one of you, whether you are a prospective new member, whether you've been a member for decades, and everyone in between, think about how we might reimagine Rotary. How can we do a better job of improving our impact, expanding our reach, enhancing participant engagement, and adapting to this new world where we find ourselves in emerging from COVID. So a lot of things we can do. One of the things I'd like to see us do, and I think Rotary International is buying into this as well, is partnerships. That seems to me to be a ready-made opportunity to expand our reach. Partnerships with churches, partnerships with other service organizations, partnerships with community foundation, partnership, whatever, any number of different things. So lots of opportunities. Is 1 o'clock the witching hour, Alan? Ish. Okay. I think what I would like to do now is shut up and see if any of you have any questions for me. And if I can't answer them, we've got other past district governors that I'm sure will be able to. Questions? Come on, surely somebody's got a question.
About this virtual, district conference, will it be a virtual hospitality suite?
Well,
She's got the verb.
you can,
BYOB.
yeah. I don't know. Several years ago when I started out in the Air Force as a Russian linguist, and теперь я говорю только немного по-русски, right? I don't speak much. But then I did another 27 years in the IT business, and early in that part of my career, I read a book called Being Digital. And the point of that book, which was in the early 80s, was eventually, everything that can be sent digitally will be. I think we have achieved that goal, or almost that goal, because sending electrons around is so much easier. Whether it's participation in a meeting virtually, or sending a signed document electronically or whatever, we are pretty much at that point. But we're not at the beam me up part yet. And so I don't know how we have our bourbon fundraiser that Suzanne Ellerbrock is trying to do. I don't know how we beam that bourbon up here for a virtual experience, but I know that Mark and Matt can figure it out.
I think we should try.
Yes, ma'am.
We've had some really good speakers at the past district conferences. Do you have a speaker yet?
Not yet. We are working on that. And in fact, if any of you would like to participate, my successor, District Governor-elect Neil Miller, is serving as our district recruiter, kind of. We are putting together, we have the core of a district event council. And so they are working right now on nailing down an agenda, speakers, and so forth. I am a little jaundiced when it comes to that. What I would like to see us do, and I don't know if we'll be able to do it or not, but I would like to be able to see us do is get some Rotary Peace Scholars to come and talk to us about their experience. I've been to a lot of these conventions where they have, you know, and we've got a zone. Are any of you planning to go to the zone council at the end of first part of October? I would encourage that. It's in Chattanooga. They've got 3 or 4 what I would say are relatively high-powered speakers scheduled for that. I don't know what it's costing them, but I would like to see more of our Rotary family talk to us about what they're doing as Rotarians in the world to do good things. So that doesn't mean that we're not going to have somebody that's interesting and entertaining and what have you, but I would like to see us load up on some good Rotary speakers. Okay, anything else? Anybody else? All right, thank you very much. I hope this has given you some food for thought, and I'm excited to see what you guys do as the year unfolds. Thank you.
Thank you, District Governor Durall, for sharing with us today. As you indicated, there are 4 strategic initiatives, and by having you in so early, we've had to do a little bit of adapting, and I thank Matt Mahala for help with that adaptation. We've enhanced our participation in our participant engagement financially this week. In terms of expanding our club's reach and increasing impact in the world, we understand that the Zambian vocational training team is currently raising money to purchase a planter. And so on behalf of the Rotary Club of Peoria-North, we'd like to present you with a check for $1,000 to help make that possible.
Okay. See, I'm shooting for 1 o'clock, and I know you guys really want to listen to me some more. But Eric Dobier is the head of that vocational training team. He happens to be in our club, Pike County. This, I think, is a great project, and on Eric's behalf, I really appreciate your donation to this effort. Eric started, I think this is 4th year. I think 3 years ago, Eric started with some fellow team members. He went to Zambia to help the local farmers over there increase their yields by teaching them modern agricultural techniques. And they have expanded from, I think 10 or 11 to several more now. I don't know. I think it's up to 100 maybe now that they've got sort of in this cooperative. And every year, even this past year where it was a drought over there, every year they have had dramatically improved yields for the farmers that followed what they were learning through the vocational training team's instruction and procedures. The next part of this goal or of this project is to mechanize the farming. And so they are, with the money that they have now, they are going to try to get a tractor, plow, and a couple of other implements to go along with that they are still short on the money to get a planter. But the goal is to create this cooperative of farmers so that they can independently sustain their activities. Now, in my mind, that is the perfect Rotary Global project. So on behalf of Eric, I appreciate the contribution, and I will pass that along to him, and we'll hope they can get her going and keep it going. So thank you very much.